Hello and welcome. Bruce Kittle here with the Hidden Pearls podcast. This is a Mindful Monday. I hope you're doing good. Hope you had a super great weekend, if this is indeed a Monday for you, so that's great. Anyway, I appreciate you joining me. So today, a little bit of a focus on what I'm going to call imperfect practice. Imperfect practice. So really what I'm just trying to get at is just a reminder. So I think in our head sometimes we think to do meditation, we have to sit down. It's got to be a super secluded spot. We've got to have our cushion, have a candle, maybe darken the shades, all that kind of stuff, and have the perfect music on and all those things. Which, when we have opportunities to do that, that is a great way, and you can certainly get some great depth into that. But the other thing is, though, when we set ourselves up for that, and that's the only way we practice, it becomes hard to transfer the skills that we're working on into the real world in kind of live time. So what do I mean by that? I just mean that, one thing that we always have with us is our breath. Always. You're always breathing. You're either taking a breath in or taking a breath out, and if you're not, that's not very good. So because we have these tools with us all the time and the framework, we want to develop an opportunity or comfort level with not everything being perfect in order to do whatever we need to do in order to stay in the moment. So particularly I'm focusing on when we get triggered or we have an emotional experience to something or we're feeling a super heavy weight in our chest or whatever. So those things that are kind of riding, and maybe we're not in a situation that, we can do that. You get off the phone and you had a difficult call with somebody or something happened at work or whatever it is. So I guess what my encouragement is to not worry about everything being perfect. And remember that you always have your breath with you and that we can take that breath and use it any time. So if you remember the stop technique that we've talked about, S is for actually stop, T is for take a breath, or two, or three, whatever you need. 3, the O is for observe, internally and externally. So what's going on externally and around me and who did what. And then internally, this is really, I think the important stuff is, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that way? And how do I feel about feeling that way? So those are the kind of things. And then P is for proceed. Proceed in a way that is consistent with who you want to be in that moment. Okay, so now I'm breaking that down, and I know all this stuff happens super quick. We don't always have that opportunity to, but just, I guess the two things I'm really trying to get to is, one, don't hesitate to rely on your breath. Trust it to calm the body, and then that calms the mind. And then also to embrace whatever emotions you're feeling. Remember that there isn't really a right or wrong in any of this. So the feelings that we have that come over us, the emotions, we don't control those. They just come. So it's standing in that presence and awareness and allowing that to be without judgment. That's really what we're working on. So anyway, that's the encouragement today. So we're going to do some breath work. And with that, I'll give you a little nudge if you want to think about some kind of trigger thing. But it's really more about visioning yourself outside, walking around, maybe going for a walk around the park or the block and taking your few breaths and evaluating what you're feeling. So just learning how to do that in a way that when it's not all perfect and all that kind of stuff. You might be participating in a sport and you got to take a free throw, or you got to do this, or you got to do that, and you've got to find a way to calm yourself, regroup, maybe attach. You don't always have time to look at the emotions because things happen pretty dang fast, but the breath work is always there for you. So without further ado, let's take 3 cleansing breaths, okay, and then we'll settle in and do a little bit of meditation. So thank you for joining me. Imperfect practice. So we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth, nice and big and loud, filling up the cavity. So here we go. Let's do one more. Those are pretty good. And again, as we take those breaths, and I always mean to mention this and sometimes I forget, just inhaling in what you want or need for the day, and exhaling out and releasing everything that doesn't serve you, everything you don't need, some story somebody told you, whatever. The voices dancing in the back of our heads, we all have them. And just exhale them out, visually see them leaving your body, leaving your mind, whatever it is. So if it's not helping you be who you really want to be, just let her go, set it down. All right, let's do a little inventory as we're coming into the space. Again, seated comfortably. You can lay down if you'd like, whatever. If you're seated, feet planted firmly on the ground if you can. Really feel that connection to Earth Mother, who supports us in all these things, just how grounded you really are. You might even envision roots from your feet or your hips, just connecting to the ground and the earth and just really supporting you, feeding you, nurturing you. And so kind of a straighter spine, kind of sitting upright without being too rigid. Just relaxed, coming into your own breath. So just energetically, maybe just take a peek. What am I bringing into this setting? What do I need, or what do I need to let go of in order to be fully present just for these few moments? Present with my body, present with my breath. So, how's the old mind going? Super busy today already? Is it chill and relaxed? Anxious and worried? Got a list of things to do? Just say thank you for all you do to support me, and we're just gonna set that down for a minute or two, and it will be there, trust me, when you get back up, so no worries on that. And then with a couple breaths, let's just take, how's the heart space doing today? Kind of emotionally, spiritually. Just noticing. Notice what you notice. No judgment. No emotion is per se better or worse than the other. We are just being present with whatever without judgment, full of grace and love for ourselves. Don't have to fix it. We're just present with it. Saying hello to everybody that's there. It's like walking into a gymnasium for a basketball game, and everybody that's there, all these different emotions and thoughts and all that kind of stuff, and you can still watch the game, but you just have to do it with all those people there. So it's kind of like that. We're not going to shoo all the people away. We're not going to tell them they have to be super quiet. We're just going to enjoy the game. And you know what? We're the game. We're watching ourselves. All right, then with a couple more breaths, just checking out your body, whatever's going on with that. So I think I've shared this before, but when I am a little bit out of alignment, I can always tell, because behind my right shoulder blade, in the kind of lower center part, I always get this knot. And I can feel it when I wake up in the morning. And I never know exactly what happened to cause it. Maybe it's just how I sleep, but most often it's got something to do with things going on in my life. So just kind of always checking in with that, trying to see what emotions might be affixed to that location. And as you do this, you can always do a body scan, kind of just starting from the top of your head or the toes, whatever, and just kind of skim it with each breath, working up or down, whatever works for you, and just seeing what's there. And just remember, right? Sometimes mentally, we can check out. You watch a movie and you're just kind of gone. You don't even know the 2 hours pass, all that kind of stuff. But your body never has that luxury. Your body is always in the present moment. And that's why connecting to our body is so powerful and so helpful, because it helps us be present in the moment. And if we can align ourselves with that body and love that body and nurture that body and care for that body, it will teach us how to be more present in the moment, and it will also show us all the stuff the mind is dumping. So just let's love that body up a little bit. Okay, I want to do one more breath work piece here. So there's a fancy name for this, I can't remember it, but it's like we're going to inhale through the mouth, but we're going to do so like you're sipping on a straw. There's two ways to do this. You can do it with the curled tongue technique, like that, or just kind of narrow your lips and pull in. So it's an interesting piece because you can pull pretty hard, but it really elongates the inhale. And then we're going to hold at the top for a count of 8, and then we're going to exhale through the nose. Now, just be careful with this because it can lead to a little bit of dizziness. And if you need to shorten it or elongate it, whatever you do for you. So we're going to take 4 of these breaths and just give it a practice. So here we go. So we're going to inhale through the mouth. Hold. And exhale through the nose. Two more of those. Exhale. So I'll invite you here, we just got a couple minutes left, but I'll invite you just to sit and maintain your breath back to kind of a normal pace and just find your own focal point. And just be there, be present. You could go with a body sensation, maybe where you're seated and the connection or your feet to the ground. One of my favorites is my breath. As I feel my lungs inhaling and exhaling, I kind of ride the ribs. But whatever works for you, and just be present. Focus on that. If you get pulled away, acknowledge, say thank you, and just come on back with no judgment, full of love and grace. Now, if you'd like to maybe practice this imperfect practice, you might just visualize yourself being somewhere not in your normal meditation setting, feeling a little triggered or anxious or whatever you want to do. You don't have to go crazy, and just visualize kind of going through the steps. If you want to use the stop technique, that's great. But just, here I am, and it's an awareness that I've been pulled into something. It's an awareness that I'm a little bit out of alignment or balance. And then knowing, trusting, I can take a few breaths, realign, and then see what's going on and figure out how I want to go forward. So it's awareness and kind of acknowledging what's there, allowing it to be there. Not fighting it or resisting, just really letting it be and accepting whatever the reality of that situation might be for you. There you go. Taking a few breaths, finding realignment, knowing how you feel. What am I feeling? Why do I feel that way? How do I feel about feeling that? And then moving forward in a way that's consistent with you. So, that's our time today. Sorry I got a little rush there at the end. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and just be open to the possibilities about where and when you might be able to step into your imperfect practice. And just a reminder, nothing is perfect. Even when we think we have all the perfect stuff sitting around us, right? It's never really perfect, and it's okay, because that's not what life's all about. Life's about finding the depth, finding the love, finding the connection, even when it's not perfect. And really, that's the most important skill set that we can develop. All right, sending you love, kindness, joy, inclusion, and grace. Be filled with it. Wishing you the very best. Have a super great week.